This is Abnormal Entertainment.
2, 3, 4. Walked into the tunnel just to find the light. Hunted for old demons, looking for a fight. Looked up at the stars, seemed to go forever. There must be a way, it all fits together. Fell into the quicksand, held on to the vines. Never could quite color, stay within the lines. Feels like I have wings, I can fly wherever. This is just a way, it all fits together. Finally saw the world through rose-colored glasses. Gonna share my journey to small and large masses. Give up on my life, no sir, me never. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Hey everybody, this is Daniel Garza and welcome to another episode of Put It Together. I'd like to start as usual thanking my producer, Mr. Kevin Moyers, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting everybody to check us out at normalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Also, you can find me on the social media pages. Go to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube and look for Daniel G. Garza or Put It Together podcast, and you'll find the shows and the episodes, videos, extra stuff. Just go there and check it out. I'm sure you'll like the page. Today, I'm excited. Have a guest. My guest here, yay! He's excited too. Raw, who is a professional listener, and oddly enough, well, welcome to the show, Raw. How you doing?
Thank you so much.
Good. You look good, and I'm going to say that because, like a lot of guests, sometimes they think podcast, oh, it's just audio, and they don't think. But then I pull out the camera. It's like, ha ha ha! You be on.
My good shirt.
You have a good shirt. Is that your Sunday, your church clothes?
Not Sunday, not church clothes, but I'm really going to pray.
It's good to see you again. We met a couple of days ago. My neighbor James, hi James, called me like at 10:30. He's like, I've got somebody you got to meet. And I was already like hair popping up, like I was already in rags ready to go to bed, and I was like, okay, fine.
Didn't have your curlers in.
I did not. I didn't have the mud mask on yet or the curlers. Lucky for me. But you live here in Laguna Beach now.
I do live here in Laguna, a new beat at Orange County.
Yay! Welcome to Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
Once you come to the dark side, you'll never go back.
I'm wondering.
But where are you originally from?
Kansas City, Missouri.
Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Do you miss it, or do you like?
They don't call it misery for you.
I've never heard that before.
I'm educating you.
But also, you know, the more I do this show, the more I discover that there's always like 1 degree of separation between us. People talk about 6 degrees, but once I stop my guest and go on their Facebook or social media pages, I realize that we know a lot of the same people. We also know Mike Hennessy and Bob Birmingham.
Yeah, good old Michael and Bob.
So,
a cute couple.
Yes, you guys might remember them. Mike's been on the show way back. He was part of the first 10 episodes back in 2012. And if you guys followed the Queerbergs, Bob is Mike's partner's husband, so he was our producer. And he'll be on the show at some point, so we'll have him on here.
What did Bob talk about? Or he hasn't?
He hasn't yet. Mike was on the show about it was how he got the Miracle Mike nickname.
That must have been a good show.
It was, that was early on. We talked about the HIV and how he survived, and interesting story. I will put that back on the air for you guys to listen. You can go back and check it out. But let's talk about you.
Oh, me.
Yay! So, Raw, welcome again to the show, and
Thank you.
tell us how you put it together.
How I pull it together. That's an interesting question, but I always do. I'm lucky I always land on my feet. Not on my head, thank goodness. But I don't know if that's putting it together. But just getting things up and going, listening to myself, trusting myself.
Yeah.
Learning how to value what you think and how to move forward in life. Do I need McDonald's today or do I need a salad? You talk to yourself about that.
Are you a good negotiator with yourself?
I negotiate.
Because we have a
I'm
way.
not saying I'm good.
Because last night I was like, fruit or cookies? And I was like, okay, look, have all the fruit and one cookie and we'll be good. So I compromised with myself.
So this morning, my friend James picked me up from work. And I'm like, oh, let's go for coffee, whatever. We ended up at this one coffee place on a cliff over here looking over the beach. And I'm like, oh, French fries. Oh, French fries. Okay, they went out, French fries. I don't know if that was good negotiating.
Yeah. It sounds like there's a little blackmail intention in there somewhere. Have you always been good at trusting your instincts?
No.
No?
That's a talent that life has taught me.
Yeah? How so?
How so? Because I had to go through a lot of shit to learn to trust myself.
Yeah?
So, and you put up with a lot of shit before you learn to trust yourself. It's not an easy process. Doubt is always a much big motivator to creep in and put you in loose ends.
Yeah.
So,
Experiences?
Trusting myself was a long battle and a long history. Funny enough, I came here to Laguna. I worked in the therapy business world for 16 years, running a cognitive behavior therapy practice and everything else and doing shit. Not until I came to Laguna did I find a good therapist who actually did a lifetime of work with me in 7 sessions.
Really?
Yeah. But he actually really nailed in all this stuff. 91 years old, and I call him the pistol.
Nice.
He likes to make a joke about me and say I call him the pistol.
But that's a good example of... I've always said that book smarts are good, but without some good street smarts behind it, it's nothing.
Hey, you need to be well-rounded. And you don't get anything from reading a book, and you don't get anything from street smarts. It's all about bringing it a whole circle. You got to put all that together. Because you can know how electricity works and how to do this whole building with electricity and everything else, and you go outside and you trip on the sidewalk.
Sure.
So it's all about a balance of honing all that in together. So and that's a big thing about what I do when I listen. It's helping people create a balance and be heard. It's also a cleansing. But got to connect the dots so we can put it all together.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to this part of the story because I want to make sure, but so that folks understand professionally who you are, a professional listener. Can you define that for us?
The easiest way to define it is just letting you get stuff off your chest. There's a statistic out there: 80% of getting over any disorder is just being able to have an unbiased person to talk to about it. So, and that's hard to find sometimes. Of course, I'm more on the upper level. I know how to talk to you, give you stories, maybe highlight things, how you might look at things differently. Maybe you don't need to hold on to that. What is that doing for you? You know, just listen to you and hear. And when I'm listening, you're not actually saying what I'm hearing. I'm hearing what you're covering up.
Right.
So I help you be okay to talk about it.
Right.
And gotta trust me. So building trust with you, making you comfortable, and actually going in and being able to touch that feeling and let it go. A lot of people harbor those feelings deep down inside. I don't know if you have an experience about this, but my experience is that I build a huge, heavy wall in my chest, and it holds me down and pushes on me. And I can feel that sucker when it's alive and well in me. And when it's gone, it's like a total freedom. I'm like, why was I holding on to that shit?
Yeah.
But that's how when we bury shit inside, instead of just talking about it, letting it go, letting it be the freedom of the day, it could get buried and really heavy and really scary. So one of the last sessions with my therapist, I was talking about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm getting this up and going, and I'm blah, 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 and I know I could do it. And he's like, I didn't hear you correctly. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you could do it. I'm like, yeah, I could do it. And that little insight from someone else, I could say it to myself all day long. So also getting that feedback from someone else and just realizing the insight and just being re-empowered by it.
Yeah.
So that's my whole dig.
All right. So for everybody listening, that's what a professional listener does, and we're going to talk a little more about that before the show's over. So going back to your story, your put it together story, were you a street smart kid or were you a book smart kid?
I grew up in Missouri. I had to learn quickly. Funny enough, part of my talent or magic or whatever I want to call it is I grew up with an evangelistic grandmother.
Oh.
She prophesied, she spoke in tongues. Oh, I wish I could say something and someone knew what it was in another language. But the girl, she did it all. So I think I've learned a lot from her. Not saying that she listened to people, but she told them what they wanted to hear.
What they wanted to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you talk about street smart, growing up in Missouri, there's a lot of stories there.
Yeah.
Smart, coming to LA at a 22-year-old and getting thrown into society and everything else. I got my smarts. So I think I have a real well-rounded balance of them both.
Do you? Because I remember when I moved to California, I was 39. So I was a little older, but I tell people I grew up street smart. I was a smart aleck, and I knew how to con and negotiate, and the book smarts only helped me because then I knew stuff, and I could con you into believing I knew more than I did. But when I moved to California, I figured and started working up in LA. It helped. It helped to navigate because we see so many people that come to California and get spit out. They don't last in LA
really quickly.
And I do believe that my growing up experiences helped me out, and I say that with a smile.
Well, I should say I have a lot of intuition.
Okay.
I could look at something. I could hear someone. I don't want to give an example right now. America Today, but you could just see right through it. So I don't know where my talent came for that, but I could see a lot of the bullshit that's thrown in front of our faces.
Well, like in the intuitive circles that I run around in, I've heard it called, and I use the term, reading between the lines or feeling between the lines, where, especially when you're doing a reading for somebody, they're telling you all this stuff to cover up what you're reading for them. And you're like you look at them like, I really don't care what you're saying. I know it's not true. Like you're making this whole cover up, and eventually their lies catch up with them. Don't you think?
I can see the lies. It's the harder you have to cover them up, the more rigid and severe you become, because you don't want anyone to know.
Yeah, it's like me growing up and pretending I was straight through junior high and high school, and holding on to that, and when I went back to my reunion, they're like, "Oh, we knew you were gay." I was like, "God, like I could have been so much more relaxed."
So I've been out. I have a lot of gay history, married, divorced, blah blah blah. But coming down here to Laguna, I felt I had to be closeted again, and it was just working new environment. Hey, West Hollywood for many years. I've been traveled the world, everything else, but now I'm like, oh, and Laguna's like a little island, stuck on this little island. It's just like, oh, all you people. So I kind of felt inhibited when I first got here. So, but actually being able to reopen up about that and just being confident in being myself, it's just, that's the only way I'm going to get around the world. And that's how I get around the world.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to, because I'm interested in when you were young, because we kind of stopped at that story. We're talking about your street smarts, and were you confident?
Growing up?
Yeah.
Hell no. I was like bullied from the day I remember, and just not a nice upbringing.
Yeah.
So, nothing to complain about. I'm out of there. And I always knew I was going to leave. My whole mentality growing up was that I'll be able to escape at some point in time. So,
there's lessons in all that, because I was bullied too, but I want to hear your side of it. I believe that there's lessons in everything that happens in our life. Did you learn anything about yourself while you were being bullied, or during the time that you know now? Not that you learned it then, but know now.
You know, it gave me a lot of insight, because just say the bullier normally comes from something really bad also. So they're being put down, tortured in their own way, and as kids you're not taught how to deal with all that emotions and interactions and stuff, and you only know how to point out the differences in everyone. So it comes out in a lot of negative ways. So did I learn from that? I learned to be really strong. Maybe it taught me to be more independent. I don't hold on to things. I let them go as they are. And I just see through a lot of things. So maybe it helped me see through a lot of things.
That's kind of cool, how that conversation came full circle to the other conversation we were having. Everything just brings us to that point where we can identify things in others or in life.
But talking about Missouri, that's a full-on reality episode for 15 seasons.
Yes, let's start producing that. We got to show people.
You're like, what? Did that really happen? I'm like, it's Missouri.
Nobody take that dibs on that story. Nobody gets it. I kind of had a question about that.
What about you from Texas?
What about it?
Texas isn't so clean cut.
Oh, I was bullied. I was hardcore bullied.
I lived in Texas for a year.
Yeah, I grew up in Dallas, and most of the people that watch the show or follow me know about it. But bullied as a kid, molested by my bullies. I had a very, what's the word? When you are emotionally connected to your abusers.
Yeah.
Whatever that word is. But I would seek them out because it was the only friends I had.
Yeah.
So I would tolerate the bullying and the molestation. They were just a little bit older than me in order to continue to have friends.
Yeah, the molestation in Missouri is really common.
Yeah?
I mean, I was surrounded by molestation, but never touched myself. I had a controlling grandmother. She controlled the hell out of my life.
I laugh only because I had my mother was way older when I was born. She was 41 when I was born. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people thought she was my grandmother. Mm-hmm. And she was very... I didn't know about masturbation until I was like in my late teens. I didn't know what it was. It's only because somebody taught me, and I guess that's not really masturbation, but you get the point. Being bullied, having the street smarts, getting did that help you get to know yourself? Did that help you? Because you talked about being independent, but
I wasn't able to get to know myself in Missouri. Just put it that way. Being so suppressed and constantly stopped down on, you're not yourself.
right.
Then I ended up in a relationship where that happened. Oh, thank goodness I'll never do that again. But learning
With
to...
I'm sorry, with the woman?
No.
No, with the guy.
With a man. Yeah. Have gay history and gay divorce and gay marriage.
Oh, okay.
And I was in Puerto Vallarta for the big ass wedding for 3 days and everything. And Obama got elected, but gay marriage got overturned in California.
Wow.
So a lot of history there with lovely gayness.
So this whole time that you're being suppressed, are you basically like this copy of the people around you?
You know, you put on a safe facade, something that protects you while you deal with all the shit.
Yeah.
So it's not you. It's your safety guard. So you try to use it and maneuver it to be safe.
Right.
You learn to do things in a certain way so you don't grab attention. You entertain in a way where, people will laugh at you instead of look at you in a dirty way.
Yeah.
So you learn to maneuver in those arenas.
That sounds very familiar. Yeah.
And it's not you. But I can relate to that, and I see it a lot, and I was taught it very well. Because in Missouri, you lie about all your shit. Because there's so much bad stuff going on that you just don't talk about it. You bury it, you hide it, and you get crazy coping with it.
Did people around you know about your sexuality?
I came out when I was like 18. I was called a faggot from the get-go. I was
Okay.
like, I was constantly bullied. I had a higher voice as a kid. And Rusty Wigs is, and my initials and everything else, people, they just had a heyday with me. They just couldn't stop making fun of me, putting me down. I was in a family where I didn't get violence, so I was never the kid who was beaten up on. But my cousins would go out to the park and beat up all the gay people at the park. Come back and cheer about it.
What did that do to you?
Oh, it's not a good feeling. What does it do to you? It just makes you hate them more. I don't know. It's not hate them, but no respect. Put it that way. You have no respect for those people.
Because I remember listening to all the gay jokes in Mexico and just laughing along. Yeah, that's...
Hey, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right?
So you moved to California when you were 18, correct? No.
I moved to Texas. No, let's see. Okay, so I left Kansas City, Missouri when I graduated high school. I went to the University of Arizona for a year. Came back for a year and a half to take care of grandparents dying, as no one else would. And then I went to Texas for a year, and then I made it to California.
How was your relationship with your grandmother?
Distraught. She was very controlling. And she always just said, pray for me to speak in tongues and do all this, baptize, like anytime there was water around. I'm like, there's only an inch of water. I can't fit in there. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ. Everything you got, she had prayer strings that had to go in your shoes. If this thong would have a prayer string, if these shorts, a shirt, anything you got new, she wanted a prayer string in it. She would stop the car in the middle of the freaking street so she could open up the door and pray for it. She was a handful.
Wow. But yet you still came back and took care of her.
I did. Yes, I did. It was a very... So her husband was the one who molested all the girls around me. So I have a lot of... And she believed. She believed, so she didn't have to do anything. She thought God should take care of everything. So I have a lot of issues with that grandmother.
Wow. I'm gonna say this with all respect, but how does that not just completely fuck with your head?
Hey, you don't get out of Missouri not being fucked up.
I'm trying to think who I know from Missouri because I'm trying to calculate. I'm gonna analyze them.
A couple of people in your building.
I'm gonna have to analyze them next time I see them.
You know that car with all the dolls on it?
If you've been to my apartment, you know what he's talking about.
He's from Missouri.
But because I find it. Was it closure for you? I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Was there a closure for you to come back and take care of her and like say goodbye?
Oh no, I was way too young for that to be closure. And I was still, so I was the youngest of some kids, so I was also low on the totem pole, and my parents were divorced, so I floated around from aunt to grandmother to this, so I never had a stable family, and my grandmother was able to even hunk in more control because of that.
All right.
So if you talk about closure, that's it. I still have resentment. It's just how can you be one way and then just let so many other things happen? Hey, my other grandmother, she was a drinking, smoking grandmother. Budweiser beer in one hand and cigarette in the other. That girl, I could get away with stuff.
It seems to me like you're a good combo of both.
I am.
Yeah.
The good thing about all that stuff is that I've learned and processed a lot about life. I don't live in a fantasy world. I've had a whole extreme of life, from the good to the bad. So that's what actually makes me a strong person in who I am today. And that's what makes me so confident in what I do and how I live my life today.
So, okay, because I congratulate you for it. It shows to me that from a young age you had that, like, this is how I feel, but the facts are that this is what I need to do. And
well, just so you know, as a young age, I always knew I was the odd dog out. I never fit in. I didn't fit into my family. I didn't fit into Missouri. It wasn't meant for me to be there. And I wasn't supposed to be born either.
oh,
I was in,
you were surprised?
my mother wasn't supposed to be able to have children.
Ha!
And all of a sudden, I came along.
So you were pushing your way through from very the start, basically.
Yeah. Apparently, I wanted to come through the butthole, but they redirected me through the vagina.
That could, oddly enough, knowing that and knowing you a little bit right now, it kind of makes sense. Like, there's no stopping you.
I wanted to get the bullshit done and over
Yeah,
with.
there's no roadblocks for you, is there?
No. I can see roadblocks, and not saying I haven't had them in life. That I have processed. That heavy weight that I was talking about that could be built on my chest and be like pounds and pounds of weight. I had to get rid of that.
Wow.
But I was able to identify it, know about it, connect with what it was from and why it was being built up so much, to be able to process it too.
Got it. All right, well, let's get you out of Missouri now, because we've been talking about Missouri a lot. Let's get you in California now. So you get here in your 20s.
Yeah.
What were you coming to do in California?
I don't think I had a goal. My biggest thing was just weather. I didn't want to deal with winter anymore. And I've always had a strong pull for the intellectual crowd. So I wanted to be stimulated. And got here as a little young buck. And met a crowd, ended up being an assistant for a socialite. And yes, that was her job. She had to go to parties. And
Wow.
she taught me the whole realm of LA Republican wealth. And country clubs and the whole thing. And she was part of a group where Nancy Reagan and Betsy Bloomingdale were the head of it. And yeah, that Nancy Reagan would look me up and down. She never said hello, but she would look me up and down.
Wow.
That Nancy was fine. Girl loved gossip too. But I coming from Missouri to being put into a totally different world, I had to adapt and use my skills really quickly.
Can I ask what year that was?
God, had to be the early 90s, like 94, 95, somewhere around there. Trying to remember. 99, 2000, I was in Italy. So, let's see, yeah, let's put it at 95.
Wow. I want to make sure that we have time to get to your workshop and your title, what you do, but we have about 20 minutes to go. Where did you go to Italy? What took you there?
You know, I met my ex, and he was determined to go and live in Italy for a year, and we're basically only together for a year and a half before we went. So, we went to Italy for a year. Biggest life changer in my whole entire life. I still remember that year as one of the best.
Yeah.
Just in life, because the Italians, they live life. Food, they eat really well. And they take care in how they fix it and how they prepare it and where the food comes from. If it's from their garden, this tomato was in the sun. It's like, this is a good one.
Wow. That's marking up people right there.
To wine. Oh, and my class, because I was in a year abroad there, to get student loans, basically. But my school gave a wine tasting class. That was such a fun class.
Poor thing.
My God, I still remember that class. We laughed and had such a ball.
See that?
But culture, history, life, Italiani, whatever. There was an Italian on the beach the other day. It's like, oh, my Italiani.
Did you learn Italian when you were there?
I was in school for a year. My Italian is really bad right now.
It's rusty?
I can understand it. So when the person was talking on the phone, I'm like, oh yeah, the waves are small. Yeah, don't tell them that.
That's cool. That's so cool.
But in the Italians, they know how to do the beach. Us Americans, no one else in the world knows how to do the beaches like the Italians. They get their chairs, they have the umbrella, there's towels, there's services at the beach, so you could go get something or whatever. They all go to the edge of the water and smoke their cigarettes.
Nice. That's like I say, like there must be some Italian in me that I didn't know about, because that sounds like my kind of life right there.
The Italians have a saying: "Live life first, then work."
That's why they have the yeah. Yes, my kind of people. How have you put everything together that you've learned in your life for your career now?
You know, I've always had a really strong inner self that was hidden for most of my. I was the only one who had the conversation with that person. But helping process all my stuff actually for the last 3 years, and I mean, I ran a therapy practice for 16 years, but it was always about the big doctors that I was supporting, and you're never able to make comments on anything because, you know, they were the experts. So now giving rid of all my doubt in that one, like, no, I think I saw shit happening, and this is how things can be looked at and worked on, and just divorce, helping me cleanse all of that, and creating the new belief in me, and making it all about me, and not what someone else thinks or what someone else thinks I should do, and just learning to believe in myself and take those steps, and just being solid in them. There's no debating about it anymore. You know, I was at a restaurant once and the lady said, "Oh, once you're 40, you know, you don't give about shit anymore." And, you know, why did we care before? Because you get a lot of freedom when you don't care anymore. Who cares what people think about you? I mean, I've had a whole lifetime of people thinking really negative things about me. So what? Let them think those. It's not me.
Right.
And actually, on the other hand, I'm the person they all want to come running to, because I'm the one who will talk to them. I'm the one who will listen. I'm the one who will give them support. I'll be there for them when no one else is. So, and I value that.
Yeah.
So
I can understand that. That's a good segue to the listening part. Why that? Why be a professional listener?
There's a need for it. I'm really good at it. And I have a passion for it. I think when people feel heard, you could just see a change in them. It's like a light switch goes off, and they're like, it's something lifted. And, you know, I'll give them a short story. I never, like, point at anyone or, like, you this. I always give a nice segue to a story or a metaphor or something to bring a different light to how the person's looking at something. This is a really famous metaphor, still from everyone else, but it fits the moment. So there's this raging river, right? There's currents going and everything else. And your angst is on the other side of that river, and you're on the other side, and there's a rope, and you're playing tug-of-war. And you're pulling, the angst is pulling, and the river is raging, going really fast. What should you do with the rope? You have any clue?
No.
Let go.
Huh.
What are you going to do? Let go of the angst. Let that river take the rope away. Go to the picnic that's in the park.
That makes sense. And for those of you watching or listening, thank you for sticking around. We're talking to Raw. He is a professional listener, and after what you've heard, stick around because towards the end, we're gonna do a session, basically. Is that what it's called, a session?
I'll work with you.
Gee, thanks. I even learned English for this. But is that what they are, sessions?
Yeah.
Is it like a
sessions.
therapy session?
I don't do therapy.
Okay.
And I don't do life coaching.
Okay.
I'm not going to work on your goals and make sure you achieve them.
There's no vision boards or
No,
nothing like
you
that.
go to some other...
Come to me. I do vision boards. I do vision
Like,
boards.
go to someone else for that. That's not my job. My job is to help people just let go of things and process. And therapy is a totally different world. That's dealing with mental disorders. And I'm not saying I don't deal with people with mental disorders, but that's not my job.
Now, there's a whole new trend of different forms of... we can't call it... Well, it is a therapy. I mean, you're not a therapist, but it's a form of therapy.
It's a form of processing.
Okay. Because we have, like... I was in New York just a couple months ago, and in New York they have the cuddling bars where you just go in and somebody just holds you for X amount of time you just feel that being nurtured thing. They have the napping ones. They have all kinds of different things. They have the puppies and they have the kittens, and there's all these different...
Don't you have a laughing group here?
Yeah, there's a laughing yoga here in Laguna Beach. I was born in 1970, so I kind of like I have that 70s like we didn't have that crap before. We were fine. Why do we need it now? And this is me being
The
evil.
70s was very creative and coming up with a lot of shit. What are you talking about?
Well, I was young. I was little, but
Do you have any bell bottoms left?
I do actually. I do have bell bottoms, and I've bought retro shirts over the last 10 years. Besides the point, is this some kind of natural thing that we're going back to get away from therapy, to get away from medication?
Oh, medication, that's like rocks me the wrong way. Running that therapy practice, having clients come in on 16 different medications, and all they wanted to do was get off of them, and they were all prescribed by a doctor, is ridiculous. People need to process and deal with their emotions. No drug is going to be a magic pill to say, oh, that fixed the situation.
Right.
No pill is going to fix that situation. Let's make it even more dramatic. Like, no amount of drinking is going to fix a bad situation with your mother or your father.
Wait, what?
Whatever. When people like drink to try to numb their emotions away.
What?
Yeah, right.
You mean all those years of drinking didn't do anything for me?
They numbed you,
Yeah.
but they didn't process the
Yeah.
stuff you were feeling, though.
Yeah, I get you, yeah.
So we actually have to process that stuff and let go of it. Like I say, when it gets buried, it becomes very dark, hurt. I mean, imagine just holding on to hurt and pain like this every day, and you have to cuddle it and hide it and mask it so people don't see it. I mean, that's not the way to live life. Live life is to process that. Be able to talk about it. Okay, so molestation, one of the biggest things, it happens a lot. And because we don't talk about it, and because we do not process that, and not saying whatever, anyone's at fault, but the more we process and the more we talk about it, the less impact it has and the less it's going to happen. I went to a workshop once, and there was this person, and they wanted to teach little kids about penises and vaginas and all that other stuff. And you know, Americans, outraged. It's like, no, you teach your kids like that, so when you say that someone's touching their penis or vagina, you know something's happening and going on, and you respond.
Right.
instead of lying about it and saying, oh, that person wouldn't do it, and burying it and making the dysfunction happen worse. So, and once people, we'll stick on molestation since we got there today, once people start talking about it, that's a heavy load that they let off.
Yeah.
Because that goes in all directions of your life. Goes into a conversation you're having with a clerk at a grocery store that you might get panicked about something, or relationships, how you think and feel about yourself.
Yeah.
It's a heavy hitter to hold on to, but letting go and processing it and saying that you're okay is good. And I'll hit on the other bad side. Also, most child molesters were molested themselves. So it's a whole process of processing that dysfunction and being able to talk about it and being able to let go of the shame of it. And there's more than just shame that goes on with it. It's a whole deep impact on your life that happens in that one. But to be able to process that and let go, and it's not all about therapy. Therapy does a lot of good stuff in that, but just being able to let go.
Yeah. We're going to stop for a second because I'm going to go sit on the couch because we're going to talk a little bit about the workshop and maybe show folks a little bit about how you do the listening.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're back, and as you can see, I'm over here now. It's not often that I get on the videos anymore. I usually just I hide behind the camera. I just listen. But for those of you listening just now or watching the video, I'm with Rob, who is a professional listener. And again, for the folks that maybe just now started listening, explain to us again what a professional listener is.
So, in a nutshell, really quickly, it's helping you get things off your chest.
Okay.
So, saying I do more than that, but there's a lot of details to it.
Now, you have a workshop coming up.
I do, September 22nd.
Now, can you tell us about that workshop?
Yeah, I will do a workshop. I will give it examples about what I do. I'll use the audience to come up and talk to me. So I can highlight how I listen and what I'm listening for and how I process and how I talk back and help the person feel heard and valued.
Overall, are we bad listeners?
Extremely. So I'm gonna just use you. So you're interviewing me, I say something, you're already talking in your head, right, about what you're gonna ask me next.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're not listening.
In my job, yeah. Because you have to be one step ahead of people.
But that's not listening.
Right. But in my real life, I'm usually I think we talked about this a little bit before we started recording, that I'm more antisocial than people think I am.
But antisocial isn't listening.
Right. Well, what I mean by that is I'm usually just listening to people. I'm not really part of the conversation. Just kind of following along everybody. Like, okay, got you. And then when something important needs to be said, I'll jump in and then I'll jump back out. But for work, I have to be on top of everything. Listen.
So I will give you an example of how I listen, because I just listened to you talk and everything else, but I wasn't trying to process what I should rebuttal with yet. I was trying to hear how you were describing antisocial and how it fits for you with the listening, and I was having trouble connecting the dots.
Okay.
And so, give me an example when you think you actually have really listened to someone. You really heard what they were saying. It's hard. See, are we good listeners?
Yeah. You know, the hard part is, a lot of the jobs that I do, a lot of things I'm involved in, like doing card readings.
You're working.
Yeah, doing card readings or Reiki. There's really not a whole lot of conversation. I'm pretty much telling them what comes up. So I don't listen to them. They're listening to what I have to say. In interviews, my brain is working with extra because I'm listening to what you're saying, and then the other side of the department is creating questions while I'm still listening to what you're saying. And I do have to have, like, somebody has to be ahead of me, going, okay, now ask him this. Oh, he brought up his grandmother, or he said this. So there's this two function side to me. I think I tune people out sometimes because of everything that I've been through in my life. I'll say this. Before cancer, I would sit and have empathy for people and be compassionate and be like, tell me, what happened? And I would just, after cancer and after everything I've been through in the last 3 years, my body is so exhausted sometimes, or it hurts, that I'm just like, get to the point. You're just taking too long.
So tell me about this tuning out process. How do you actually know it, or that you're actually doing it?
Because I'm just collecting keywords. It's just, and if it turns into whining, I'm shut out. Okay, just get it off your chest, whatever you're saying.
Is this with the person at the grocery store, or your mother you're having a conversation with?
No, and I hope they don't see this show. Some of my friends, it's kind of like, no, I'm not going to say the friends, because the friends I will listen to. The acquaintances.
Well, tell me about the process about tuning out. What's
if it's the same thing that we've talked about several times, because you must know how it is. Sometimes they come to you because you can do something. So if I do readings for them, they'll want to know what the card says. But if the conversation starts with them again for the 20th time, wanting for a reading for the same thing that we talked about a year ago.
So let me ask you a quick question on this. What is your response to them before you tune out?
Again, okay, so I hear the key words like my boyfriend, my ex, my mother, and all of a sudden my brain goes into, what's the next appointment? Where am I going for lunch? And then it's just, I guess.
Do you have a response?
Yeah, because it's the same response.
I'm not into that story anymore.
No.
I've heard that enough.
No.
So you're letting them just take over the conversation,
Yeah.
and you're just gonna go into your head and tune out.
Clean out stuff and mess around in my head like what's my next appointment?
How does that feeling feel?
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, but what is helping you hold on to that? You're afraid to tell them you're not interested in that anymore?
I guess.
Why let you feel bad because you don't want to hear it again?
Why not let them know?
Yeah.
I guess because they need to let it out. And they're really not looking for an answer. And, I don't know.
Is that really what you're thinking?
That's interesting. No, I never thought about it that far into it.
Because you're tuning out and you're not feeling good, and that person is telling you the same shit over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you think you'd want to do that again next time you're in that situation?
Yeah, that's why I avoid some people now. I don't want to hurt. I guess there's still a part of me that doesn't want to hurt their feelings.
Why don't you want to hurt their feelings? And how are you going to hurt their feelings? Because you don't want to hear what they have to say again?
Yeah, probably.
But how is that hurting their feelings? What makes you think you're hurting their feelings?
I guess I'm just assuming from every time we talk about it, they want to tell a story.
I'm thinking that when you want to tune out, you need to be more upfront. Because they need to be upfront. So they can stop talking about it. You're just letting them drain out a situation again.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, heard this, done this, is how many times, don't want to hear it, change your thought, not going there, and being powerful.
Yeah.
When you be more powerful, standing up for yourself in that situation and for them,
I guess I never thought of it as being powerful.
it is powerful.
I never saw it from that direction.
What is the tuning out? You said tuning out, does that feel weak? Does that feel depressed? Does that feel like I want to be out
It makes,
here?
it honestly sometimes makes me mad that they're dealing with the same thing over and over again because they choose to. And sometimes my body is just, I mean, it's been through a lot physically. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's your big.
So you kind of feel not thought about or cared about. And they're just going over the same old thing.
Like when I was going through cancer. And mind you, I guess it was the image that I was putting out there. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. So don't ask me how I'm feeling. I'm going through cancer. How am I supposed to feel? Doc. So I would tell people, tell me about what's going on with you. But once I got better, I figured it would stop. But it's continuing with some people. And I'm like, I don't have cancer anymore. I don't have to listen to you.
People also can't read your mind.
Yeah. That's,
And when you put out that negative shit to block, people get that. And then they don't go there.
very true. I never thought about that one.
Yeah, no, they get the messages really quickly. Just like when you tune out, they get the message, they get to talk more and more and more and more and more. When you can say, stop.
But is it that easy to tell people to stop? I mean,
Yes.
Is that something that you do?
How do you feel about it is what we're getting towards. Because you're going on the passive route and saying, I'm just going to get out of here, while you're still standing in front of them. Instead of taking control and being active. And like I said, that person needs to be told to stop.
I guess that's the thing
That's what they're talking to you. And if they're going down that again, they need to be told to stop.
it's like they're doing it, coming from
And
an
if you-
AA perspective. It's like the insanity of it. It's like, again, like you're doing the same thing again.
Hey, and you need to give them boundaries.
Somebody needs to, yeah. So
And if you let them, when do they know to stop? They don't. It's like you're taking it all in. And they're not noticing your eyes being all glassy and not there.
but that's where the actor comes in.
See, that's another bad thing. You're like trying to put up the facade and not be there. A lot of people would call that fake.
How dare you? This show is over. So we'll never make the air. And again, I've talked about this before. There was a little bit of patience that was lost in me from before and after cancer.
Let's just say it refocused your mentality. It wasn't lost or anything else. You just learned a lot more about life and how expendable it is. And maybe you're not willing to put up with all the crap anymore. And maybe before you loved the crap.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I fed off of people's crap because it was entertaining. I mean, my life was good. I didn't have anything else traumatic going on. Everything was on a good plane. And then after cancer, I nearly died a couple of times. And a lot of people don't know this, but saw the light, came back. And a lot of things just like, being stupid. Like
Okay, so how did that help you focus to see what drama is?
it just really it made me aware of things that I was putting a lot of energy into that I had no control over. I was like those little horsies outside of the grocery store, and it's broken. Like you think that the next quarter is going to fix it, and you just keep putting quarters into it. If that makes sense. That's what I was doing with a lot of things in my life. I kept putting quarters into things that never were going to function, and getting sick and being in the hospital.
And you weren't even paying attention to life.
No. And then after that, I was like, well, that didn't work. Why am I doing that? And that's when I really started focusing on like my career and what I wanted to do with my life and what footprint I want to leave in the world. And this is it.
So, creating healthy boundaries is really helping. It's not being mean to people. Standing up for yourself, you're the only one around to do it. A lot of people are more than happy to run over people like crazy. It's all about the me. And if you let that me bus, you could create a freeway of people just driving over you every day.
And that happened recently with some other activities that I was involved in. I kept offering to help, and they would say yes, and then when I'd show up, there was nothing. I wasn't on the list, or my name wasn't there, or we didn't need you anymore, and I was like, oh. So I said, well, fuck you, then I'm not coming back. And now that I'm not going, people are like, where are you? Like, I guess the whole value of like, oh, we realized what you were actually doing for us, but now I don't want to go back. No, you treated me bad.
Learning how to set healthy boundaries. Like when you say I want to tune out, and say, oh, I'm going to stand up for myself instead. I don't want to hear that story anymore. And why do you think it hurts their feelings? Why would you even be worried about their feelings? It's making you angry and mad and putting you in a bad space to tune out. So you're letting that person tune you out, literally, instead of being there and being you and being present.
And not to mention all the energy, all the negative energy that I bring home.
And when you cut shit off and say no, it changes the situation. Then it doesn't bleed in everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you're not like, oh, I can't believe I listened to her for an hour to talk about a boyfriend again. Okay, so I had a Cuban roommate. I never want to go to Cuba. And his mother, she was worse than him. Oh, a million times worse. She broke up with her boyfriend. That was a 3-hour conversation about how I asked the woman at the church if she was thinking with this and that, and who said I wasn't allowed to ask that person either. 3 hours long that drama shit show story could be. I have to say, girl, sorry, gotta go. Go catch a person out on the street. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Time's up. Yeah. But as we're talking here too, and thank you for this little part. But as we're talking here, it made me. I don't know if this is the way it's supposed to work or help. For those of you listening, watching, like you uncorked one part, and then it made me look into this other. Like, wow. I get why I put up with people. Like, why now I'm not tolerant.
Just being able to process that little piece. You're gonna, now when you say you're gonna tune out, or you think you're tuning out, you're gonna recognize that more stronger now. And now you're gonna say, oh, should I say something or not? You're gonna start debating. But the quicker you're able to say, hey, enough with that story. I don't want to hear it anymore. The more powerful you're going to be for yourself and for the other person.
So just for those of you, you know who you are. The next time you start with a story, we're going to record it so I can put it on my podcast. Because some of the stories are really juicy. So I've heard the original versions, and it make for a good show. So just remember, if you start talking, I'm gonna record you. This is my announcement to you, my disclaimer. Your stories will go on the air at some point. So is this basically what? I mean, is this part of what you do?
That is a big chunk of what I do, and I help. I mean, we just went over a little piece, but there's big pieces and small pieces. The little small pieces need to be hit too. But like I said, now that when you start tuning out, you're gonna realize it more. Not saying it's magic today, but I'm in your head now.
Dare you?
And I got there. You're the one who did the interview. And you're gonna notice now when you tune out, you're actually gonna notice how you're feeling or whatever, and what you're saying to yourself. And you're gonna debate for a while if you should stop and have your boundary. But the quicker that happens, you're gonna see a bigger change.
So tell the folks watching and listening about the workshop. Where, when?
Raw, my workshop is Need to Talk. It's going to be September 22nd in this lovely building here in Laguna Beach. This is a Haggard building. What's the name of it?
Hagen Place.
At Hagen Place. I'll have all my information up soon, and come live, I'll do an example on you.
Cool. So keep an eye on. We will have the information up on the Facebook page. So before the date will be up there. So check it out. I will have all that. Is there a number or email where they can reach you beforehand?
RAWiggs, WIGGS, @gmail.com. And my phone number is 949-228-3704.
Excellent. So remember, guys, sometimes we just need somebody to listen to us. And sometimes we need to get things up our chest. And let me tell you, right now at work, I'm sweating. It's kind of like a workout.
It is. I didn't say it was easy.
It made me. I'm always so careful about the words that I use in conversations because I'm usually interviewing somebody or it's on tape somewhere.
You had some tingling going on in there.
How dare you, sir?
You were scared,
How
nervous,
dare
whatever,
you?
processing.
You know what?
A little like.
The scary part is when I'm on the other side of the questions.
Yeah.
I've been the interviewer for so long, and then when I'm the interviewee, I'm like, dare you? That's my spot. Yeah. It's a little. It's out of control issues. People know that.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, that's off the air. We're not even good. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, it's been great. What are you talking about?
Enjoyed it. Yeah. We're gonna have you back after.
I'll come back.
There's so much more juicy stuff in there that we didn't get to. So. Oh. For those of you watching and listening, thank you for being with us. We are here with Ron, who is a professional listener. Stay tuned and pay attention for his workshop. It'll be here in Laguna Beach. Mm-hmm. So you'll be in my neighborhood. So you'll be right in my neighborhood. Pay attention to that. Look for all the information. Make sure you go to Facebook, Put It Together Podcast. There you'll find all of it. There'll be a link to his page and his information too, so check out that. I want to thank my producer, Mr. Kevin Morris, for all his help and support. Thank you, sir. Inviting everybody to check us out at normalentertainment.com, where you can find all the shows on the network. Check us out at, again, Put It Together Podcast. Also, my personal page, Daniel G. Garza. And the YouTube page, same name, Daniel G. Garza. You can find the videos there. So for now, Rusty, thank you, sir. Ron. Sorry, I used your real name.
It's all part of it.
Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for watching. For now, this is Daniel Garza saying, hey, put it together.
This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together. This is how I put it together.
Subscribe to Put It Together on iTunes, Stitcher, and at abnormalentertainment.com/putittogether. Find Put It Together on Facebook and tweet Daniel at Lil Messican, LILMESICAN. And for more podcasts, comics, books, movies, and more, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.